Hey there, and welcome to episode 6 of my Dyson Sphere Program series featuring the Icarus Evolution update. I'm Icon, and we're going to produce red science today. So, the recipe needs hydrogen. This is only being produced by refining oil, and we're going to need some energetic graphite, but honestly, that's the least of my worries. If I remember correctly, there was a decent coal deposit in the vicinity. I also got the energetic graphite already on the production lines. It's really no problem. What's new today will be the oil refinery stuff. So let's get going. Oil refining is a lot of fun. Now, for that, I have prepared the oil refineries, 5 of them, because that's going to drain the entire output of this oil seep pretty thoroughly. So let's put up 2 of these dudes. I hope parallel does work. I'm not sure if it does or how it does, so I'm going to try that out. Here we're going to do the plasma refining. Oil refineries do produce 2 products. They have an input of raw oil, and they output refined oil and hydrogen. So the refined oil is going to be used for plastics production, whereas the hydrogen will be our red science production. So let's check out the recipe itself. We got closer look to the numbers. So 2 units of oil get processed for 4 seconds into the other stuff. We don't need those numbers for now. That means we're going to be needing half a unit of oil per refinery. That's why we put up 5 of them. Output wise, the really interesting thing, the thing I'm really interested in is how much hydrogen, and this is a quarter of a hydrogen unit per second, because you divide that through 4 seconds, and 1 through 4 is 0.25. That's why we need at least 4 of these dudes to get an output of 1 unit of hydrogen per second. If we put up all 5, we'd have 1.25, but I don't think we're going to be needing that for now. So let's check out the input. We're only going to need a input of 0.5 units of oil per second. That means a very, very low inserter load. So we're going to be putting up 1 inserter here. Oh, sorry, sorter. And 1 sorter there. Let's put them up like that. Give them power. And now the tricky part is that we have to output these materials somewhere, but it's really not that tricky, honestly. So output lanes go now on a very close belt and a little bit of a further away belt. So close output belt will be the oil. We're selecting that with tab. And the far away output thing, oops. No. Will be the hydrogen. Luckily he did it right, but actually I want to configure that dude as well. So here. Output, press tab until you hit hydrogen. So now we got 2 products out of that. The only problem there is we got a heavy overweight of refined oil in that procedure. But put this onto the other side as well, so I can just copy that little setup there. That's what I love about this game, that you can just set up the sorters and then just shift left click that stuff, and you don't need to worry about it anymore. Here we go. So let's put up some more conveyor belt this way. Let's see, it should work super easy now. Shift left click and place it down. Shift left click, and so, oh, I can't do this. Oh no, I need to copy this one, of course. Wouldn't make sense otherwise. Alright. Needs some more conveyor belt, obviously. Yeah, but it only didn't work out correctly because it wasn't connected with the belt. So I want to be putting up all 5 of them. I want to use the entirety of the oil seep. There we go. So let's drop that number 5 down here. So now we got the entire oil field used in that scenario. Wonderful. Okay. Everybody's powered up. Everybody's doing his job. So let's check out if these inserters work right. Inserters, I'm sorry. It's Factorio player. There are habits in my brain. But yeah, things are working out just as we want to. The real issue now is that you have to store all that stuff somewhere. But honestly, it ain't that terrible. There's two things I like to do in this scenario. For one, you can just put up a thermal power plant at the end of this one. And just burn the excess oil. But that's a little bit debatable because, you know, you're actually destroying resources that you might need later. So that's up to you. Let's see, do I have any splitters on me? Yes, I do. Isn't that beautiful? I now got all the stuff that I want to. So let's think about where I'm going to produce my technology. So I don't need to be up there. So energetic graphite is being produced here. And I got the blue cubes over there. I'm somewhat tempted to just pipe down the hydrogen over to this little area there, where I'm producing my science, you know. Yeah, let's do this. Because this is going to be a pretty crappy laboratory per se. Let's do this like that. The only thing which I dislike about this method is that we're going to need an absurd amount of belt to weave that down to the laboratory, but honestly, there's always something. And to me, piping that stuff all the way down there is way less work to do, but wow. They're only storing 30 conveyor belts in that factory. Okay, we need a storage. I had no clue that it's that bad. But under these circumstances, I need to put up a storage there. It wasn't too close? No, it wasn't. Because this is just one product I need in raw numbers, and it's unacceptable to only have such low numbers accessible. Actually gimping my plan already a bit, but it's gonna be okay. Alright. So we got material here already to work with, so it's not that terrible. Now, I'll pick up the hydrogen and pipe it over here. We're going to put the hydrogen... Ooh, basically, maybe I want to go... So here's logistic work. This is always a wee bit more demanding for me. Because I'm used to logistic networks in other games, but... Well, first of all, I haven't learned everything in Dyson Sphere Program yet. And the second thing is, my god, it is so freaking different to all the things that I've played before. In a good way. In a really, really good way. But at the same time, I have to accept that I have to adjust my thinking, if you get my idea. So here we go. But that should be the frickin' hydrogen line, as soon as my drones are going to do their job one day. So the thing is here also, the drones drain your power grid a ton. I'm also burning really lackluster fuel right now, but now we're just transporting this hydrogen down where we need it. But sadly, I already noticed that, well, or wait a sec, I think I do have the necessary conveyor belt on me already. Nice. So I can't exactly say that I'm happy with this course of action here. Really, don't get me wrong, this is not how I like to work in general. But since this is going to be still a part of a starter-based project, in games like these, I really like to keep my starter bases simple. What I want to provide right now is a steady production of red science cubes, not more, not less. And that's gonna happen here with that. Later, when I'm past all these preparations, we're gonna put up a real laboratory. Pretty soon, actually. It's not gonna be that much longer. So we got the hydrogen, and actually, the good news is we also got energetic graphite here, so... huzzah. Now, let's check out where we're going to produce the science, actually. There's a ton of wind turbines blocking my way here, and I still have to place down more of them. How's my power grid, actually? Pretty okay for now. So, we're gonna be bringing the stuff all the way down here. Going the left way, because I want to leave the right path open for the energetic graphite to wander down. Here we go. So I think this should actually do the trick. Okay. Building in this game is really something else, in a good way. Really dig that. We also start to cover more and more of a planet here. I mean, the planet side still provides plenty of space, but we're just getting started. Dyson Sphere Program is a really cool, has a really cool scope of things. So I'm recharged. Let's grab the belts I need. I'm really happy that I got all that little stuff here finally ready to pick up, you know. Bam. There we go. Hundreds of belts. Stuffing my pockets, but that's a different story. Because it's totally worth it. Okay, so let's get back there. I really want to upgrade my power core. It still sucks big time. And it's annoying me a bit, but what can we do? So, here we go. The closer you are to your construction site, the better your drones work, of course. That's why we're moving alongside with that. Now, let's put down the laboratories. For now, I'll drop it down here, one tile away from that, because the red cube recipe does need... oh no, it does need the same amounts, never mind. But it does need two different types of objects. So this recipe produces 1/6 of a science cube per second, because 1 divided per 6, you know. And the other half there is a third of each per second, because if you divide 2 with 6, you receive 1/3. So that means if we put up 3 laboratories, we're going to use up 1 unit of hydrogen per second, 1 unit of energetic graphite per second to receive a half a red cube. That's as good as it gets for now. I could put up another 4th laboratory, because we actually produce 1.25 of these, but that would end me with 0.66 of these, so 2/3 of a red cube. Is that actually desirable? We check out how much we'll produce here. So one of these dudes produces 1/3 of a cube, so we're producing actually this 3 times, so we're producing 1 blue cube per second. So yes, absolutely worth it. Beautiful. Now we will optimize our output of the energetic graphite. Let's check out how much we're producing. Right now, we need 1.25 of that per second. So how does that go? So 2 seconds. Alright, this thing produces half a unit per second and eats 1 unit per second. So we're needing 3 of these dudes. Can we satisfy 3 of these dudes? That's the question. We need 3 coal per sec. This thing produces 3.5 per sec, so we're in the clear. Wonderful. Okay, so I think it was a great idea to go all the way down here with the hydrogen production, because seriously, it seems to me like the easiest way out of that problem. So... Now we just have to output that and copy that 2 times. But I'm out of furnaces. Okay. Yeah, look at it being crafted in my inventory without pre-productions. We've been through a rough patch, Icarus and me. Please forgive me for strangenesses. Jokes aside, being out of the handcrafting phase partially is a very, very majestic feel. So can't twiddle past that wind turbine. So here we go. Ooh. Now we're going to want another laboratory here. Let's better produce 2. So these dudes, how many of them will be actually consumed? I think the same, they go into consumption at the same speed. That means I'll need the same amount of cubes each. So basically, if I produce 1 blue cube per second, this will be running at maximum efficiency if I... But wait a sec. How many of these dudes will... Now I'm a little bit confused about that. How many laboratories do I actually need to eat those? Well, I think it has something to do with the hashes. Alright. Oh, I can't go for that height yet. No. Well, okay. We'll be researching that with the red cubes we're producing right now, so you see that kind of progression there already. Okay. Now, only one thing remains. Stuff that stuff into the machines. So we're gonna be using a little bit of an overkill machinery here, but I don't care about that. There's no kill like an overkill. So after 4 hours, I produced my first energy matrix. Isn't that pitiful? It's not. I'm quite happy with myself here. There we go. Red science cubes. This opens up an entirely new menu of options, science-wise, and that's quite exciting. So, let's go. Yay! Milestone achieved. So, not only are we able now to research all manner of different things here in our core, we also have new access to new technologies here. So, crystal smelting. But before I ponder about the new options here, let's go for... Well, vertical construction is not that interesting, no. I want to start out with veins utilization. That's really a lot of cubes, though. Although it's a very interesting technology. No, I want to go for the mechanical frame now first. And then the extra construction drones. And... Ah, this needs mecha core. Okay. You know, all these wonderful performance upgrades that are necessary there. So here we go. I want to put that into the machine here. And I really got no clue. So 60 hash per second. I think this is the... I understood it once. So we got a hash rate of 180 hash per second. So this is actually the amount of time necessary. What was the consumption of laboratories? Well, if somebody can help me out of this pickle, feel free to drop me a comment. I'll be researching that on my own, of course, as well. Because I think I knew, I'm pretty sure I knew it, but I totally forgot about it. So basic question would just be how much of that, how many laboratories do you need to consume the cubes, or how many cubes does one research laboratory actually consume per second? That's the actual question that I don't really find a quick answer for. So as you see here, our oil has stopped producing. That's because we are not doing anything with it. So let's change that. No. So, well, where do I want to splitter that? Or, you know what? We're going to go very, very primitive here. I'm going to go for a 2 thermal, where do I go for thermals? Or storage tanks. The fun thing about storage tanks is you can stack them. So we're going to be producing, yeah. I want to store that stuff, and as soon as I have reached a certain threshold, I'm going to burn the rest. That sounds like a good idea to me. Because this stuff will be used ultimately in the plastic production, but it's going to take a while. So let's see. I hope this does work like that. Oh no, now I remember. These tanks, they had a strict policy about input and output. I think this was the input side. Am I mistaken there? Or must this thing be right next to me? Well, could be both things the case. Well, we're gonna get there. So first off, let's cut these things. They're bothering me. It's way easier to relay that properly. Okay. Let's do this like that. And this way we can actually weave it out quite tightly. I'm not, I can't say I'm ungrateful about that. So, there we go. I hope it doesn't, make any issues here. No. Okay. Stuff. And now I'm just going to output it this way. And then drop it down here, and we're just gonna put up the storages here on the side of the map. This is all small scale, and I enjoy it this way for now. We're gonna be needing way more than that later down the road, but one thing at a time. So I know that I got this that I made this work once, so what the hell's going wrong here? Sorry guys, I was so sure that I knew how it works. So what the hell is going wrong here? Is there anything going wrong? Ah, now I know my mistake. I need to put the input over the belt. So, you know, sometimes I forget things. Okay, so now our production is saved again. Put up 2 tanks of that, and let's see. Now I'm asking myself, how much does a thermal power plant take away here? Because obviously we're going to be needing that. Okay. So let's see. I'm pretty sure that, yes, this is still a massive overproduction. Okay, so let's check out how much does this thing actually eat per sec. Do we have a... Can we get a proper readout out of that? The items are here. So 2.16 megawatt. So that's the actual production. And one drop of refined oil does yield 4.50 megajoule. So it does roughly eat up half a unit of oil per second. Got it. So since we got a massive overproduction of oil in that regard, I mean, if we check out the recipe here, we're producing way more than that. So if we're producing 1.25 hydrogen right now, we produce double the amount of oil, so 2.5 units of oil per second. That means we got an overproduction of 2 oil per second. Right now, this doesn't really hurt us in any way, because I got those tanks and they store that stuff for me. Later down the road, this might be a problem, but we're actually gonna skip away from the power plant later and exchange that with the plastic production, because, you know, plastic does need oil. I basically only put this up so we can actually keep producing without any issues and get ourselves some extra oil, extra power, without filling these tanks too quickly. I might be even putting up more than one of these dudes. Not sure about that, though. Huh. So this dude does deplete after a while. Yeah. So that shows me one thing. I thought this was a constant thing. Lesson learned. So this shows me one thing. This plant here doesn't need a fourth of these dudes. Not at all. A fifth of these dudes, I mean, sorry. Because this is going to drop below that point any moment anyway, any moment soon anyway, so that doesn't really matter too much. Okay, but at least I got half a red cube per second production now. I mean, I could easily upgrade that by tapping into another vein of oil. So we got more oil seeps down here. Let's see. One another is down here, so there's plenty of options. That's that should suffice for us in the long run. You know what? Now that I'm seeing how quickly this is depleting, actually, I'm not a big fan anymore. I'll rather store all this stuff than throwing away any of it. Because we don't really need that power. You can burn it away, but you don't have to, you know. Okay, so with that out of the way, we're really able to get further. So let's go down the laboratory. I'm actually considering strongly to put up another production facility here. But first, I want to get a glimpse of what's to be done next, you know. So let's see, these dudes are... Well, why are we... Is it backing up? Did I have a mistake in my calculations? No, it would rack up on higher numbers if we had a real overproduction. It should deplete over time, I think. Anywho, technology. We cannot only upgrade our mechanoid now, or mecha now, to sick new degrees. We also got access to new technologies here. So let's see what's the next main quest thing. So we're going to be researching photon combiners, solar sail orbit system, so that's a vital part of the Dyson Sphere. Ray receivers. That's receivers for the Dyson Sphere, okay. We got access to the next tier of logistics items and larger storage boxes. The Planetary logistics system is also available. So this will, for example, make planetary transportation a lot easier. Of course, logistics drones have their price, but, you know, it does make a lot of things easier. I want to set up these things in the long run. Titanium smelting will be absolutely vital there, because we're going to need that material pretty soon. And let's see, Deuterium Fractionation. That's a pain in the rear. You're going to be using this stuff with your hydrogen to produce deuterium. You'll get 1 deuterium out of 100 hydrogen, and you'll have to put up all these fractionators. It's a real nightmare. You can also collect that stuff from gas giants, but that's a lot more difficult there for starters. Applied superconductor, that was actually something we were able to do before. Polymer chemical engineering, yes. So here, our next big milestone project is the structure matrix. That's the yellow cubes. So we're going to need 2 things out of that. For that. So a high-strength crystal made out of titanium and organic crystals. The organic crystals can be made out of water, plastic, and oil, if I see that correctly. So all materials that we have available here. The titanium is not native to this planet. That's going to be a little bit more of a pickle. And the other item we're needing is some sort of a crystal, if I remember correctly. It was sitting somewhere on the upper side there. Crystal smelting, there we go. So crystals can be diamonds. They're actually explicitly diamonds. Okay, diamonds are made out of energetic graphite, so that's not really another issue. So the yellow crystal recipe is not that terrible. The only real issue there is that the titanium is a limited resource. And as you see here, you need 3 units of titanium per titanium crystal. So every single yellow cube does need a lot of titanium. So 3 units of titanium per yellow cube. And since that stuff ain't native on this planet, this is the first thing that'll basically force me to leave my home. But that's another story. I can't wait to get there finally. Basically, this is really one of the things that I've been waiting for. And it's going to be really cool once we get there. So yeah, here we go. One of the factories is already running dry because we're not producing 1.25 anymore. Yeah, but we do get everything done now, not in the fastest time, but in a certain amount of time. And now begins the phase of the game where I'll be able to decide where I'm headed to next. And I'm not sure about this yet. I'm going to be either pumping up my production of science here a bit. It would be a very, very cool thing to go for the crude oil seep down here and just launch 4 more oil factories down there to feed the beast to get towards the 1-on-1 ratio. So, you know, 1 red cube per second facing my 1 blue cube per second. That would be really cool. Yeah, I think that could be something I'd be doing, but this is actually something I'd be doing off camera because it's not that entertaining to watch since we've done that an episode ago. The other thing I got on my mind now is to research technology-wise the universe exploration. I think it was this one, making you able to see resources on different planets. And we can actually research the drive engine level 2. And I think the mecha sail is what we need to travel between the stars. So that's actually a really, really attractive venue. So what I'm planning to do here is to do a little bit of playtime in between the sessions, because honestly, watching me research my mech upgrades and pumping up the technology will be not that entertaining. The next episode is going to be about progression towards either more automation, I'm not sure about that yet, or we're going to set up our first step towards the structure matrices. I can't promise you guys yet where we're headed. Feel free to drop me a comment down below if you have a really good recommendation, idea, or whatever you have on your mind. Oh yeah, X-ray cracking. That's what I need. Exactly. Yeah, that's where I'm going to focus myself next into, because this makes it possible to produce more hydrogen, but maybe we'll leave that later. Anywho, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you found this episode entertaining. I really enjoy what's happening here. And I mean, this was all the boring part for me, because this was all simple and easy. We're going to head now into more complex recipes and more complex tasks, and I can't wait for that. So leave me a thumbs up and consider subscribing if you haven't done so already. And yeah, next episode will be something fancy, promise. Catch you guys next time, and have a good one. Bye bye.